3 of my top remedies when you just feel like throwing in the towel, you just want to quit. It's so much easier. You've tried everything and you just can't either manifest or make something work. And I just want to assure you that I have been there probably a million times. Sarah V here. So happy to be with you, and I thank you so much for watching my videos, whether you are on YouTube or you are part of my email list. Thank you so much for taking the time and watching these. So today, there's always something that I'm kind of feeling inside, that I'm experiencing, that I want so much for you to be able to kind of learn from my mistakes that I, may have experienced along my journey of manifesting. And what I want to talk to you today about is 3 of my top remedies when you just feel like throwing in the towel, you just want to quit. It's so much easier. You've tried everything and you just can't either manifest or make something work. And I just want to assure you that I have been there probably a million times in my whole, journey to where I am now. This is just kind of an easy way out to just stop, to just quit and just forget about it. And, one of the things that I love so much about myself, one of them, there are many, but one of the things that I do love about myself is that when I say I'm going to do something, I always do it from start to finish. Yes, it may have pivots. It may kind of end up differently. I don't know where it comes from, but, are you like that? Like you're resilient and, with all the kind of pivots, setbacks, I just don't believe that there is such a thing as failure, whether you don't try or not. Do you ever notice that sometimes where you're trying to get to never ends up in that same place? And 3 top remedies that you can use when you just feel like giving up. And I'm going to get to those in a second. This is something that I have experienced over and over again. Last year was a really challenging year because I had the idea that my life was going to go in a certain direction and it didn't. And, I remember just resisting, and I remember, judging myself. I remember kind of being the victim of like, oh, why does this always happen the way this happens? And now when I look back at all the things that didn't go in the way that I thought it was going to go, it actually has pivoted me to one of the most spectacular years of my professional, personal career. And I have been sharing with you that I have had the honor of being offered my very own talk show called Living Abundantly with Sarah V. It's going to be at the famous Chelsea Studios in New York City. Taping starts on September 19th. I do a lot of connection to universe. I call that force divine. I've always been connected to the energy of the universe, of my divine. And I do what's called as a show me, show me how to whatever it is. Having my own talk show was never specifically on my manifesting list, but the show me was. I remember I look back on my journal like, where was this? And what was on there was show me the big that is coming into my life. I really believe in this now of really dreaming big. I didn't know specifically what it was going to be. I've always loved to be in front of the camera. I've been on lots of, from ABC, NBC networks, CBS, Fox. I've done it all. I've done all the interviews. I've been on, hundreds of podcasts. But this time, this is big. This is where I get to create my own show. Don't worry, I'll be talking a lot about it. But I remember just being so frustrated because I thought my life was going in the direction, that I was trying to control, but divine, the universe had a completely different path for me to take. And because I've learned how to surrender, and because I'm always asking, ask me for the signs, that things always show up. I did not specifically ask for my own talk show, but this is what the big that I was asking about. But has there been times where I am so frustrated because I want my life to go a certain way, and somehow it goes in a different direction? It pivots. There's been so many times that I just wanted to give up. My assistant, who has worked with me for about 5 years, she has seen me in a place of despair that I'm like, I'm done. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do this. Why doesn't it always work out for me? And now I can kind of chuckle to myself like, oh, I know why it happened that way, why this particular thing didn't happen, and why did that go a different way. I know now. That has been my journey. That has been what I've experienced. So it's not just you, but I want to encourage you to keep going. Whatever, frustration you're going through right now, your highest power, if that is something that you believe in, has a different path and a different journey for you. There's so many, but I would be here, doing this video for hours if I had all of them. But I wanted to give you my top maybe 3 or 4 remedies that you can reflect on, where you can remember when you just want to give up. Because if you give up, then you are not serving the world with your talents or whatever it is that you want to experience in your life. Here are my remedies or reminders for you to use when you don't know what else to do. Maybe you can, put this in your pocket and remember. So the first one, which is really important, is reflecting on your why. Reminding yourself, why are you doing this in the first place? Why are you pursuing, these dreams? And what happens is when you reflect on your why, you kind of reconnect to the passion and purpose and motivation that actually initially started you on this journey. So reflecting back to my why, my why was to encourage as many people in this entire world that anything that you think about is possible. And, I want to be the example because, 10, 15 years ago, when I was in my marriage, nothing was available. I told myself, I can't do any of this. I identified as being a failure. And I want everybody to know that, believe me, if I can do it, if I am the example to all of you, that is why I keep going, because I want others think that anything is possible. Anything is possible. So reflecting on your why, reminding yourself why you want to do this in the first place. Remember your passion and your drive and your momentum and your purpose. The second one is really important because it's breaking the steps, breaking it down, because immediately we want to jump into this like incredibly abundant dream and, oh my God, this would be amazing, whatever that is. And sometimes to your subconscious, it gets a little overwhelming. So what do? You shut down and you do nothing. You give up. Oh, that was way too, you might continue on for, 2 weeks being all excited. And then all of a sudden the dream is too big. right now. We know that the end result is going to be big, but breaking it down into smaller, achievable goals is so incredibly important. And what we get to do is we get to focus on the first step, one step at a time. I always remember, the little analogy of, the stepping stone across the river. You don't just go from one side and just leap across. Well, you can do that, but there's a chance that you're going to fall in or you're going to stop doing what you're doing. And the most important thing is that you take one step before the next one. And I feel like that's exactly what I did. And for the past, I don't know, year, the one thing that I've done every single day is to focus on abundance. And I'm not talking about buying a new car or bigger house or whatever, but abundance means my mindset. Every time I was aware that I was telling myself a negative, scarce story, I would stop, I would breathe, because I know that's an old story that keeps coming up. So all I did, that my one step, was focusing in on my abundant mindset. Because what do I always say? Maybe you don't know, is that your inner feeling, the feeling, your frequency inside of you is the magnet to the world, to the universe, to divine, to God, whatever you believe in. So remember just to break it down and take one of those little steps across your big river to the other side. And we know that my end result was to dream big, to attract exactly what is coming to me. That was a really, really powerful step for me in this place of manifesting my most incredible life. Oh my God, I cannot wait to share my new talk show with all of you. The third step is about seeking support. I have the most incredible team that we're all working together, but I also have friends, family, and mentors that really provide the encouragement and the guidance and the advice that I need to get across that river. And if you surround yourself with positive, supportive people who believe in your dreams, I tell you, it makes the journey across the river so much more abundant. And I just want you to know that we cannot do this journey by ourselves. It's so lonely if we do it by ourselves. But, I have learned my lesson of who I can trust, who's on my team, who wants the best for me. And I know that seeking support is incredibly important when we are trying to manifest exactly what we want in our lives. Oh my gosh, that has changed for me 100%. I get to take my incredible team to Chelsea Studios in September. When we succeed, us, we show others what is possible. And to me, that is incredibly abundant. And then the fourth thing, which sometimes is hard for us, but celebrating small victories and acknowledging and celebrating the process you have made so far. It's almost like, gratitude. But when we recognize the small victories and the milestones along the way, it helps us to fuel the motivation and remind us of our capabilities. And there is a beautiful practice, which I love, which I do all the time. When I used to feel myself sink into despair, like, oh, nothing's happening. Why doesn't it, the whole victim thing. And it's called a win streak. And every morning or night or during the day, whenever you feel that low vibration, you actually write down the smallest wins that have happened to you. And they can be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't think scarcity thoughts all day. Or, oh my gosh, I caught myself when I was going into that downward spiral. Or I can't believe how amazing the people around me. It really has to be just small little wins, because small wins equal big results. Everything all adds up to the big things that we want. There are hundreds more, maybe not hundreds, but there are so many more reminders. But those are my top 4 reminders and remedies when you want to throw in the towel, because it is normal to feel discouraged and overwhelmed at times. That is normal. But with perseverance and determination and that positive mindset, you can overcome these feelings and continue pursuing what you came to this world to experience. And I cannot wait to share with you this divine dream of mine, and it will be airing in October. Don't worry, August is going to be all about the everyday abundance that we experience. You know, it doesn't have to be these big things, you know, these material things that we see so much in our society. You know, it's that Kardashian syndrome, if you will, that we're constantly seeing. You know, that is what abundance means, but it's not. It is about a lifestyle. And this is what this new talk show, Living Abundantly with Sarah V, is going to be all about. And one last word is, don't give up. I'm so glad that I never gave up, because now I'm here expanding into this brand new expansion of myself. And I am so thrilled that you have been along the ride with me, and we will continue to ride together, maybe into the sunset. So anyway, so stay tuned, and thank you so much for tuning in today. Thank you.